Welcome in our man, Dave Aiken.
Hey now, hey.
Has arrived. Man of the hour when you gave my son that purple and gold tie.
I thought it was obvious. That was a tip-in.
Loved it.
Solid gift.
Loved it.
Solid.
I mean, all the gifts were very nice. A lot of money, of course, for my son.
Good.
For graduation. But he's like, I'm wearing this to graduation. And he did. He looks solid.
It was a great choice.
Didn't he look great? I know. It was really nice, Dave.
I went back and forth between getting him one with the logo on it, which I thought would be nice. But then I was like, well, he could wear this. You know, he could wear that tie with a white shirt, navy blazer, some khakis.
Beautiful.
Baddie's going to come flocking, baby.
Beautiful. Oh, yes.
I will say this because, Dave, you and Biggie were unable to make the party at Kelly's house.
True that.
The baddie count was surprisingly low. It was very bro heavy.
Low, very bro. Yeah, very few baddies.
Why do you think we weren't there?
Right. Right.
Where are the baddies?
He said he didn't invite many baddies. Like, that kind of thing. All the bros came. The swag bros were.
Yeah.
I see.
I'll tell you this, too. You know how, was it last week or a couple of weeks ago, the people who on their phones got directions and literally drove into the ocean a couple of times?
Happened twice in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Same pier.
Yes. People are so addicted to the directions on the phone. So the conversation we had with my son yesterday on graduation day was this. He was sitting there in the chair.
Pre-ceremony?
Pre-ceremony, probably about an hour before he had to leave. Now, he had to be there an hour before doors open, of course. So, and he can't have, none of the graduates could have a phone. They would not let you have a phone as you sat down there. So he said, okay, now we had to drive to the Coliseum. Coliseum's about a 20-minute drive from my house.
This in the morning?
No, this was about
late afternoon.
Yeah, the graduation started at 5 o'clock. He had to be there at 3:45.
I know they do them all day.
Yes, So ours was last one.
Yeah.
So he says to us now, about an hour before he has to leave, he goes, okay, I guess my plan is you guys just follow me and I'll give my phone to you and you drive it back home. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, I have to get the directions from my phone, but I can't take the phone on to the graduation. So one of you just follow me to the Coliseum and I'll give you the phone. And
then the instant the ceremony is done, phone back in his hand.
Phone back in hand. And I said, but I can just write directions out for you to the Coliseum. It's like 2 roads. And he said, no way.
You're kidding me.
No way. He's like, no way. I can't do that. He's like, I cannot do that. And so we went back and forth. He goes, how did you all in olden times go from one place to the other? And we said, well, somebody said, you go down this road, go down Old Scratch Road, and you turn left at the Kmart, and
where the Hardee's used to be.
Oh, no. No.
We drove into the ocean a lot.
Yeah.
You'll do it.
We didn't know.
Soon.
And he goes, I can't do it. And I said, well, we're not following you to the Coliseum, taking your phone.
There's no chase vehicle?
I said, we're not doing that. He goes, you have to.
Leave your phone in the car.
I said, leave your phone in the car. The heat. I said, I put it in the glove box and leave. I can't take a risk. My whole life's on this phone. I said, no one cares about your whole life on that phone. You're going to be fine. So that's what he wound up doing.
So you think every single car in the parking?
Yeah, I do.
Say that.
Well, he told me a bunch of students snuck their phones in.
Yeah, you put them.
That wouldn't shock.
Turn them off and put them in your pocket.
That's what
nobody knows.
That's what he said. But he left his in the car. But the fact that he wanted me to drive behind him, so he could get the direction.
Well, at first I thought you were going to have to lead him there.
Well, right.
Since he couldn't use the
get
phone.
me there.
That's the other. I said, son, I'm going to write down the roads you turn on, and you'll be. No, I can't do that. I need to. It has to tell me. He goes, it has to tell me what. That's how dependent.
Ben?
And he goes, Ben, I ain't gonna drive you over that. That kind of thing. And then he said, now this is what a dichotomy, what a distance between the valedictorian speech, who has already gotten like a year's worth of credits from doing early college and is headed to Stanford on a scholarship, to my son, who after counting all the money that he got on Saturday night, came in and proclaimed, there's one really big question about today. It was a graduation. I said, what is it? Should I or should I not buy new Ray-Bans?
I can afford them now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to say, what the blank?
Make your move.
I mean, he's right.
That was the big question of the day, wasn't it, really?
For sure.
There's a big thing happening in Philadelphia. How about that highway collapsing. It's I-95.
Yeah, it's an overpass.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The fact that no one was hurt or killed
Stunning.
on that Interstate 95
Stunning.
in Philly is mind-boggling.
It's incredible.
Busiest interstate in the country, I would think, or at least
Gotta
close
be.
to it.
It's going to cause traffic problems for months.
Months.
Oh, they said there's no way
Mm-hmm.
this thing is going to be repaired anywhere in less than 4 or 5 months.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And
And that's working round the clock.
and everybody is saying it's already caused nightmare traffic.
And it started, a truck caught fire, and that's what happened, so people were able to evacuate.
I guess that's right.
Under the bridge.
Truck.
Okay.
Under the overpass.
And did that
okay.
lead to? I mean, could you not see it coming? Like, oh, the infrastructure's really bad here, or is it the fire that caused damage that would
the
have?
fire caused it. From what I've read
Yeah.
is that it was a gasoline truck.
Yeah.
It caught fire under the overpass, and it just did so much damage, the heat, the flames, everything, that it just collapsed.
How awful.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Chris Demm says this may be the most stereotypical Philadelphian of all time. He lives near where the bridge collapsed, where the overpass collapsed. And in fact, you can see it from his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people were asking him, what's going on? What's going on? He was passed out at the time. Well, I'll just let him describe it.
Dude, so I was passed out and I woke up to nothing but text messages, phone calls. I had no idea what was going on. And I got dressed, I came out, I looked down, and I smell like a smoky smell. And I'm like, damn, dude, so it's crazy.
When you
Like,
came out and saw it,
Yeah.
did you know what was happening yet, or did it just look like a fire?
well, no, so I got all those text messages, screenshots. I'm like, everybody's like, yo, where's this at? Like, nobody had like a direct like location. So I was like, look out my window, I see a bunch of cops. I'm like, bro, that's right by my apartment.
So when did you figure out and realize that the freeway collapsed, the northbound side?
Dude, I was passed out when that happened.
You maybe didn't hear it the first time. He's passed out.
He's having a hard time.
That's low-key one of my favorite accents, is that Philly accent.
I never knew about that accent until that show.
Yeah, Mayor.
Yeah, Biggie and I watched
Mayor
it.
of East
East
Town.
Town.
Town, yeah.
She got it too. That what's her name?
It's Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
She was great, and she got that accent just right. And since then, I've noticed it. And well, you did it. You
Yeah.
were like, "What's that accent?" It's called something.
Giggy Haggy.
Yeah.
Delco.
Delco accent. And this guy just owns it.
Dude, so I was passed out and I woke up to nothing but text messages, phone calls. I had no idea what was going on. And I got dressed, I came out, I looked down, and I smell like a smoky smell.
That was the bridge that
Yeah.
had collapsed and everything was on fire.
Yeah.
So he is, if you didn't hear, passed out during it, but now
I was
everything,
passed out, dude.
everything is okay now for him, and he was telling his friends what was going on. There's a story today about, this is animal related now.
Animals attack?
When animals attack, there's a human attacks animals in a Demm report later, and actually we were talking about this at a part later. There's a story of a man who was trying to shoot mice, but and at that graduation party the other night, somebody was talking about like their old college days, and they lived in a frat house that was so downtrodden, so overrun with vermin, they would sit in the basement, wait for a rat to come out and shoot it.
Yeah.
I said, I don't think that's legal. He's like, man, we're in college. What are we going to do? We had guns, and the rats would run across the floor, and he'd just shoot them.
Well, according to some reports I'm getting, we might need to institute that policy in this building.
They can say that. You saw a
Vermin?
a mouse on.
But it made its way around. I only told one person.
Who'd you tell?
I told downstairs Josie.
Oh, well, it's going to make its way around there. Come
You
on.
old downstairs jizz.
I
I
know,
was passed
you know,
out.
you
Tell me-
know.
And I told
Okay.
one person upstairs that can call the exterminator.
Okay.
Because in one of the production rooms, I was walking downstairs one day last week to get my coffee.
Yes.
Out of the production room, just scurrying out of the production room. He had a piece of copy in his hand.
Yeah.
And was running past.
Gotta record a commercial.
and then ran into the kitchen.
A mouse.
And then
A mouse.
And then I scurried over to the kitchen to see if he went under. They usually go under things.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything.
Didn't see him.
Nah, he knew where he was going.
Yeah.
Or she was.
Yes. And a mouse. We've got a house here.
Yeah.
We've got a mouse.
At least
At least
one.
one.
Probably more.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
I don't know where they're coming in at. And that's the basement floor.
Wow. That's right. That's the.
Josie will talk it to death.
It's our only hope.
Came out of her studio.
Get away from her.
I notice you're new here. Let me be the first one to welcome you to the company. Here, I'll give you a guided tour of the place. Forget it. I'm going back to.
I'll live under the building. I'll live in the sewage. I'll live in the
It
sewage.
runs to the trap.
yeah. Where are you going?
I didn't tell you about my 5K.
We have a colleague named Josie who's she talks a little.
But she owns it.
She knows.
Oh,
she
yeah, she
knows.
owns it.
She talks a lot.
And she runs a lot.
So the mouse's suicide note was just scrawled in his own blood, Josie. his head. Head in the trap. A big J. I could no longer take it.
It's not suicide. I had to.
There is a woman in Toledo, Ohio, who says that her home and many homes in the neighborhood have been overrun by groundhogs, and you can't shoot them. She wants to shoot them.
They're
And
big.
Of course, they've said no. Yes, groundhog. I
They
mean,
get big and fat. You see them on the side of the road.
Yeah,
usually the
and
interstate.
they're terrifyingly close to the road sometimes.
They don't care.
see them quite
and
a
they
bit.
just don't care.
Yeah, and of course, when you see it on Groundhog Day, that's a big animal.
That's good luck.
This woman says, this is the worst thing I've ever gone through. And apparently, when she calls out animal control, it's extremely expensive, and they can't seem to get rid of all of them. They'll trap one at a time, and they have to humanely trap them. This is the woman. Her name is Stacy Smith. She's the homeowner that the home has been overrun.
Any little hole, see up under that stair, they'll crawl up under there and have more babies and migrate. You got one, now you got 8. It's disgusting. They come around here digging up holes, you know what I mean? Ew.
But the groundhog problem is just insane. It costs $150 just to set his trap up. And then for every one he caught, it was $60.
That's 13 Action News. $150 for the animal control to set a trap, and for every one, he charges $60 to get rid of it. And they keep
To empty
coming.
the trap.
Yes, and they keep on coming. She can't get rid of them.
You sure that company's on the up and up? They're not emptying that guy in the same
Oh,
same
could be,
yard.
right,
are they?
that could be.
He keeps coming back, and they're getting $60 every time.
It could be how they're doing that.
People scam people. Kevin.
But the odds sure do. According to city code, shooting the animal Toledo city limits is prohibited and could land you a fine and criminal charges. Neighbors have gone to the city and asked that they please take over and get rid of these. But the city right now is mulling it over, and they're just like,
I've never heard of a animal that large
I know.
infesting a home.
No.
A groundhog infestation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I heard there? That we're thinking about getting koi for our water feature.
Oh.
Still, let's come
Okay.
back.
Well,
Well, now that the boy's leaving,
yeah.
Y'all going to get lonely?
gotta fill the void.
Oh, God, I miss him.
Yeah. We talked about it at one point.
I remember.
A little water feature back
Yeah.
there, and a lot of people at this graduation, do you have any koi? I went, no, we don't.
I have. It's in the refrigerator.
We should have some koi back there,
Mm-hmm.
But one person said, well,
You could put salmon in there. They could try to swim up the waterfall.
Now, that would be
well,
nice.
that, yeah.
To spawn upstream.
Up the fountain.
Somebody said it draws in predatory birds that will come in and grab, because they're orange, of course, and white. And then somebody else said, and raccoons. He said, we used to have koi, and raccoons came and destroyed
Is that
them.
why sometimes you see the netting over the
Possible.
the water area? Sometimes you see some of
Maybe.
that black netting.
Maybe.
I never thought about
But
that. That's why
that,
that is.
But the netting, I think that
That's
takes
not
away-
attractive.
No, and
Let's just see that.
but right there, I said, well, forget the koi. But then others were saying, but it would rid your water feature of algae. The koi take care of the algae. I don't know.
But it would bring birds of prey.
That's the problem.
And how awesome would it be, though, to walk around a corner and see a raccoon on 2 legs carrying a koi away from a pond? What's up?
That would be something.
Well, it depends on the size of the choir. I mean, they vary in size tremendously, don't
Yeah.
they? I mean, you can go from like thumb size.
You're
to
right.
But are
the
they one of
size your
those?
forearm.
They get big, though.
That's right.
I was going to say, are they a fish that grows out of the size of its
Could be.
environment? Yeah, because they could keep
Heard that.
growing.
They're the ones you see at the sushi restaurants, right?
Yes.
Big koi. So I said, because the whole discussion around the water feature was, what about the koi? And I said, I was.
I see you decided to go no koi.
That's very brave.
Have a water feature like this and no koi in
just
it.
weren't sure.
Are they expensive?
I haven't even looked into it, except
try it.
Except that one neighbor did say raccoons and birds of prey will really mess you up out there if you've got koi. This isn't when animals attack. Boulder, Colorado. A woman has been rushed to the hospital after being attacked by a herd of cows.
Cows.
We've heard of it before. Yeah, it did happen. This was in. Remember, we had a 911 call about cows, legendary call from England.
Yes, the woman walking through the field.
And we have a little of that. This is just a bit of it. The woman on the other end of the 911 call seemed to not believe her.
Police emergency. Hello? Hello, you through to the police? What do you want help with? Who am I speaking to?
All right, as you can tell.
She's nonplussed.
Yeah, she went on to say that she was in a field where she didn't know where she was.
That's right. But she had been hit by a bunch of cows.
The woman thought, the operator thought it was a wind-up.
Was not a wind-up.
It wasn't.
It was real. And this happened in Boulder, Colorado. A woman was jogging through a trail, and there were cows nearby, and apparently they attacked her. We have a 911 call and a witness. This 911 call is a little more standard.
Hi, I am on a trail right next to McCaslin. I just saw a runner get attacked by a herd of cows, and they're not moving, and the cows are surrounding them.
She screamed and was just down on the ground while they were just trampling her. On a very short span of time, she stopped moving, which at the time I was like, oh my gosh, did I just watch? Did I just watch her die? Which thankfully wasn't the case.
When trail visitors come out and they're acting aggressively, or if they're approaching the cow in a fast manner, those cows, again, perceive that as a threat, and they do what they do to protect their young.
So you have to worry about cows just like other animals when they've given birth. As you run through, they perceive it as a threat. You heard that.
I don't run. I have not run. I don't run much, and I certainly have not run through the American West. But based on the movies that I've seen starring John Wayne and others of that generation, I thought cows were behind fences.
Should be, really, yeah.
You can't just have them loose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're your property.
You'd think.
They're not wild animals.
Unless the people let people run through their property, because maybe they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres, and the cows are
but put up a fence
running free. Well, there may be a fence.
Isn't that what changed the West? The barbed wire fence?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it did. The barbed wire fence made
expensive.
It changed how the West was quote unquote settled.
So you're saying that maybe the jogger is inside a fence?
Possible. Maybe some places let you just run through.
Yeah, it was odd that she was attacked. That's the second time we've heard of that.
I don't know how it works out there.
An attack by cows. The first time in England.
Steers, bulls, one thing I understand, but I guess if it's a mother cow.
Yeah, a cow is something completely different. Did you see that bear in the ocean, Dave?
No, bear in the ocean? Which ocean?
Bear in the ocean.
Yeah, it's real. Gulf of Mexico.
Destin.
Florida bear?
Beautiful waters.
Florida bear. Beachgoers looked at it. There was a black bear in the ocean.
Yeah,
body
bears,
surfing.
That's a panhandle, yeah?
Yeah.
And the bear is out pretty deep in the water, just having a nice time.
Well.
And then it comes up on the shore, and people say, that's a
bear.
That's a bear.
And it trots off into the woods, and that's really...
They sure didn't swim over from Portugal.
There was some consideration on where did that bear come from. Some folks in a boat were looking at it. They weren't as shocked as I would have imagined.
I'm a bear.
Crazy. There's a bear.
Kelly's correct. I have seen. I looked at several. Obviously, there were hundreds of people on this beach in Destin, and there's tons of cell phones. And the video was, I got to be honest, disappointing.
Agreed.
No great narration. People were just like, "Oh, it's a bear.
There's a bear in the ocean.
Bear in the ocean.
It's a bear in the ocean.
Never seen that.
Of course you haven't. Who has seen a bear in the ocean? Maybe the first bear ever in the ocean.
Yeah, maybe.
He loved it.
You're nonplussed. We should be plussed.
You should be. They all should be plussed.
Slightly plussed.
Casey, you're talking about cows now. They attacked a jogger in Colorado. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Casey and King here, P1.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, when I go hunting down in Georgia on one of the islands down in Georgia, and they have some wild cows down there, and they're just free roaming on this island. And you go hunting deer, and you go out in the morning, really dark, to get in your deer stand, or to wait for the pigs and the deer and such like that, and you'll be like creeping through the woods, and all of a sudden you run face to face into like a 1,000-pound cow, and you're being quiet so he don't hear you. And you face to face, man, it will scare you to death, and it scared a cow to death too. So I can see how one of them would attack you.
Yes.
If you scared him so much, because I've been face to face with him, and I thought my heart stopped.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
How big cow is, it's crazy. But yeah, I could see how somebody get attacked by them.
I didn't know they had wild cows there.
Wild
in Georgia.
cows.
What a smorgasbord! You go down for venison and come back with beef.
Beef, yeah. You could.
That's a charcuterie board.
Take it
or
out.
Turkey. We've got it all down
Thank
there.
you, Casey. Yeah, I didn't know there was wild cows.
Never heard of wild cow.
Not an expert in the cow field.
I've heard of wild ponies.
Ponies and horses.
Did you see? There's a guy that could be facing some legal charges. This was in Yellowstone. He and his friend were driving from place to place, and they would get out and chase black bears and yell at them. We have just one.
Is this for the social media?
Of course. And they posted it.
The door open.
There's a bear off to the side. Listen to this, dude. You're chasing him. Listen to little Sam Smith on the radio there.
What I wouldn't give for one of them to just be mauled.
Yeah, you don't wish for it, but you wouldn't be mad.
He does. He wishes for it.
I wish I was in the car behind him and they, screwed up and it was actually like a grizzly.
Yeah.
And the grizzly just ripped him out of his Prius. Just ate him right there in front of his crying friend.